All right, hi there, my name is Renee, and in this video I want to talk about the power of having an investment framework, because having a clear framework, clear processes can be an absolute superpower and can feel like cheating in the world of stocks. And honestly, I didn't prepare anything for this video. I'm just going to freely speak about why I think having investment processes is absolutely critical. And let me maybe start by highlighting what an investment framework actually is. So in investing framework is basically, you can think of it as a concept if you want to visualize it. Maybe you can think of having different building blocks that are building synergies between each other. And these synergies, of course, develop strength, develop power, making you a better investor. And I think one of the main benefits of having a framework is that it reduces the human element in the decision making, because I truly believe that the more robotic you are in your decision making, the better your investment returns and your investment results will actually be. So one other thing to maybe be aware of when it comes to having investment frameworks and clear investment processes is that we have to distinguish between output-driven decisions and process-driven decisions. If you think of a casino, for example, of course, someone who is visiting the casino, he can be lucky during one evening. He can put $1,000 on black on the roulette table and leave the casino with $50,000 US. So clearly this was a good evening for this individual. However, this result, this spectacular outcome, a 50x return, to be fair, I don't play roulette. I don't know what the return of hitting the right number during one run actually would be. But what I'm trying to say is that he had a great return on his investment during this evening, but this result is not replicable. It's not replicable over a long period of time. No, ultimately, over the long term, the house will be the winner, so the casino. And that's because the casino has clear processes in place. And these processes enable the casino to make plus EV bets, meaning bets that have a positive expected value if you only run these bets often enough. And the same is true for the stock market. Of course, you will encounter people who got incredibly lucky. Maybe they have bet on Tesla early on. Maybe they have bet on Nvidia more recently, and they saw a return of maybe 50% on that investment in a single year. And obviously 50% in a single year, that's a spectacular result for any individual investor. However, what you have to determine is, was this spectacular result based on luck or on having superior processes? And I would argue in the case of Tesla and Nvidia, oftentimes these results may be the outcome of luck and not necessarily having a superior analytical framework. And if I now think of my investment framework, I previously said that you have different building blocks that build synergies with each other. What could such a building block, for example, look like? Let me just present one example here. For example, I believe you have to have clear processes when it comes to the process of idea generation, meaning how do you actually find interesting investing ideas? And in my mentoring program, for example, we have a specific chapter on the topic of idea generation within the broader module of portfolio management. And then within the idea generation chapter, there are, I think, 9 different ways to generate investment ideas. And again, one of these ideas could, for example, be the use of a stock screener, meaning you filter companies, you filter the universe of, I think we have around 60,000 publicly traded companies worldwide. You apply a filter to this opportunity set to reduce it down to a more manageable number. And obviously there are different ways to filter for companies that may be interesting. In fact, on Ticker, I primarily use Ticker as my stock screener. I think I have saved 6 or 7 different stock filters that I will then run quite regularly. And knowing what to filter for and which screening criteria to combine to get an interesting list of companies to then browse through. This can feel like cheating, feel like a superpower, because obviously, or maybe I shouldn't say obviously, but it's obvious to me, you will have a better outcome over a long period of time than someone who's just relying on stock tips from people on Twitter, for example. Stock tips which they are then just blindly following without them doing the deep work, the research work themselves. And I guess another part of the screening idea generation process would be to run these screens regularly, to develop a habit. When do you run each screen? How regularly do you run them? And what do you do with the result? So with the result, for example, I would run them through my snap judgment process, which would be an entirely different process that I think, can be another superpower. But I just used the field of idea generation as one example to highlight why having clear processes is so incredibly important. Obviously, you will also have to have clear processes for different areas. in the realm of investing. For example, for the analysis of management teams, for the analysis of the competitive position and the competitive advantage of a business. There are many other topics related to the concept of portfolio management. And I could go on talking about the processes that I think people have to have in place for hours, I guess. And it may sound like a lot to you. And I guess if you're just starting to invest, it may be a lot early on. But once you start applying these theoretical concepts into practice in the real world, you will quickly be able to internalize these concepts to truly understand the key principles that you have to look out for. And ultimately, you will then become a very good, a very well-versed and experienced investor over time. But I think over the long term, you can only succeed if you have a clear framework that you have actually written down. And that includes checklists that you then go through to make sure you make decisions that are as robotic as possible. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So this is what I wanted to talk about. Let me know if you have clear processes in place that you follow when you analyze businesses, when you make buy or sell decisions, just to provide 2 more examples here. And I'll see you in one of my next videos. Take care.